Hello guys, this is Jonathan Munoz and I'm back after a long time. I stopped posting videos because I think I pretty much had enough material for you guys to have a good sense of how the interview process in the United States could be or should be done. But now I don't know, sometimes I just think about things that could help you, and I just want to give you a reminder today. It's going to be short. It's just going to be a reminder of the power of enthusiasm, the power of having a very positive um, intention when going to these interviews and showing a positive outlook. So start with positive thoughts to start your morning and start verbalizing that you're going to do well, you're going to do great, they're going to like you. So it's in your mind, and like people say, attract those feelings, those ideas. Start with the right vibe, if you want to call it like that, and start talking about what you know, even if if you think that this is different in your country and how it is done here. We're talking about primary care, we're talking about internal medicine, family practice, pediatrics. Most countries follow the same process in terms of, for these three specialties, there is outpatient, there is inpatient, and there is urgent care. So you know this, but the difference is that in many of our countries, when we talk about the emergency department has different areas like the pediatric unit, internal medicine, or the surgery unit. So patients go straight to these ones or get moved from one side to the other one, and then admitted into the hospital and followed by a different doctor every time. Yes, by a surgeon, or if they are in the surgical wing, or by the internal medicine doctor if they are on the medicine ward. There are consultations happening in our countries. The way it happens is that the surgeon consults the internal medicine doctor for the management of things that they don't know about in medicine, right? That's not surgical. And guess what? That happens here too, once the patients are on the floor. But the admission process, the initial part, that's the only part that is slightly different. So just get to know that after that, everything else is the same. Here in the United States, the emergency department is the one that starts the work for most patients. All of them have to go, when they come with an acute condition, they go through the emergency department. It's not that they go directly into the hospital and get seen by their doctors, but they have to go through the emergency department. So they are the gatekeepers of the hospital and then directed to where they need to go. And then everything else is the same for most countries. There are consultations happening, there are procedures done inside the hospital. So they want to know that you understand that you understand this process, that you are mature enough or you had experience enough that a patient comes, has to be triaged, has to be assessed, and initial testing has to be done for this patient to be considered appropriate for a hospitalization time. So after this, who comes into the play? It could be the internal medicine doctor, the family practice, the pediatrician, who. So as long as you know that this process is very similar to the one going on in your country, you have a good start. So this becomes important to the first question, to the question that really catches the attention of the interviewer, and is the, tell me about yourself. Why? Because in the past years, and most companies that you will hear about trying to answer these questions, tell me about yourself, they will tell you to start by saying, oh, I was born in this city with very limited resources and exposed to all these things. And that was great.
Dr. Deliva, 9856. Dr. Deliva, 9856.
All right. And that was great information in the past, but I don't think it is anymore. There's a different focus, and people will appreciate that you are really talking about things that matter and not wasting their time or or you will appreciate that you could catch their attention. So I would recommend that when facing the "tell me about yourself" question, you could start by saying, "I come from Peru, a country that has a healthcare system that is similar to the United States. We have the same process in every hospital. The emergency department has a way to triage patients. I've been working there for a couple of years. I have been volunteering there for a couple of years. And the way we triage patients and send them to the different floors seems to be similar to what is happening in the United States, as per my observerships or for what I experienced during these rotations in X and Y institutions. And it's also very interesting to me how a primary care doctor follows patients after discharge from the hospital, and how the communication that happens from the electronic medical records and accurate description of their diseases helps to transition a patient from the hospital to home. And this is something that's also being developed in my country, where we are starting to use electronic medical records. So with those statements, you're already saying that you're familiar with what is happening here. The electronic medical records, the idea of a very general system that allows you to share information is not very old here. We are in probably 10 years, 13 years of using electronic medical records. And it was terrible 10 years ago. It started to get a little better by 8 years. 5 years ago, it was still bad. And for the last 5 years, I think it's pretty good. But there are times that we still have to use paper charts. So it's not perfect. And for example, I know that in my country, we're starting to use electronic medical records. I don't know how well is that going or working for Peru, but for you, the new applicant, I think starting the "tell me about yourself" question, starting the answer by saying that, I'm Jonathan Munoz, I'm 38 now, and I come from Peru, where I think, or I find that the healthcare system is pretty similar to yours. I've been very surprised to see the same structure, the same way to triage patients on my observerships, and you can start with that. I think, and I will tell you why. I will tell you why, guys, because another part of this is remember to really research or try to find out a little bit about who is going to interview you, who are the people that are going to interview you. You may have to be with the very clinical person, and the very clinical person wants to know about you understanding the healthcare system, you understanding the how to triage patients, who starts the admission process, who then is the one that follows, how is important to have discharge summaries, HMPs, progress notes with as much information as possible. That's the clinical guy. And when you research or you start doing some research on people, you could look at what are the positions that they hold on every institution. Maybe they are just listed as chief of internal medicine and researcher of terrible diseases, and I don't know, the recent recipient of the teaching school award of the Society of Internal Medicine Doctors. So then that tells you this person is clinical. This person needs or likes to just focus on the clinical part. But as a counterpart, if what you see on their profiles has to do with being involved in different areas of the hospital, like diabetes, like I don't know, hypertension committees, or being involved in groups like utilization and management, or clinical documentation improvement, or revenue, or they are linked to programs like that, or they had positions like that, then this person may not just be clinical. Maybe if this person is interviewing you, you have an opportunity to show that you know those aspects of medicine, which are the business of medicine. If you show that in a simple way, like saying that you know clinical documentation improvement, you can read about clinical documentation improvement for the next couple of weeks and have a very good understanding of it, and just share your thoughts about it with a person that you think has the same interest, and that may be the way that you catch their attention. So that's all I have for you today. It's just a reminder that starting this season of interviews, to come with a good approach, with a good energy to your interviews, to have that in mind, to have that positive energy in your mind, and expect the best out of people and out of your journey, of course. So we'll see you next time.